I like to look at negative parts of issues before I come back to the positive. With all the good things you said, and exactly you may be right. I just read a report, actually, by the Organization for the Economic Cooperation and Development. Who are the members of this? Austria, Belgium, Canada, France, UK, US, and all these big companies, you know, are big countries, the advanced countries. So they came up, actually, during the 21st Century Technologies Summit. They came up with promises and perils of the future. And this is what they said. They categorized the world into 3 different places, actually, categorize different countries into 3 different worlds. World number 1 is actually all the advanced nations that you can think of: Europe, America, Canada, Japan, and all the rest of them. World number 2 are the same countries you have just mentioned, for instance. The countries that have direction, they are focused, they have sustainable development, and they are developing rapidly. They categorize that. The third category, which is the one that I'm interested in, is the one that they say they are the third world that have severe straits with no clear vision or verifiable future. And guess what? They categorize Nigeria into this with Bangladesh and all those kind of things. This is what they did. This is their latest report. And I just read the report. And I usually like to read this kind of reports. I don't get upset. I want to read it and understand what do they mean by that. At the same time, they are writing that it's exactly what you have just said earlier on. You have mentioned that China is actually now in a clean energy revolution. And this is what is happening. And China is getting ready to invest multi-billion-dollar in Africa. And in Africa, they decided to focus on Nigeria. With all the things that are being said, they are focusing on Nigeria. Why are they focusing on Nigeria? They are looking at Nigeria as the undisputed leader when it comes to West African market, for instance. With a population of over 220 million, and population of the entire West Africa was 400 million, with our GDP now going close to 480 billion, they are now looking at Nigeria as the right partner. Because the reason why China is the leader, producing 71% ahead of any other continent, you know, you can see clearly that population matters. And where are these vehicles going? A lot of them there and the Middle East. Nigeria has very insignificant number. Less than 1% of our vehicles are actually electric cars. So now they are looking at Nigeria with this population, with this GDP, with several other programs. And thanks to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that now we have actually a lithium policy, you know, clean energy policy that we have in Nigeria. We have the tax breaks. We have the national electric vehicles policy in place. And they had several meetings that he had that you mentioned, and this is where to go. So this is where I want to take it from. Now, you mentioned what happened in Nasarawa recently when we commissioned 2 of the companies, and now the 3rd one is coming. And the 3rd one is the biggest so far. And they are all owned by the Chinese. All the 3 companies are owned by the Chinese. And the biggest of them is now linked to CanMax. One, I heard you mentioning CATL, who is the leader, you know, and the other companies. CanMax is one of the top 4 biggest worldwide. So CanMax is also a part owner of this 3rd company that is being built in Nasarawa State. And what are these companies doing? Apart from the mining, they are actually processing to concentrate. But processing to concentrate is just one step. The second step is actually producing the batteries. After you produce the batteries, the next stage is now assembly of the vehicles. Why is lithium wanted very badly? Lithium actually is an alkali metal with an atomic number 3. And it is very light, and it has very low density. So that's why they love it. And it goes very well, you know, for that. And you mentioned, where is lithium found in Nigeria? So far, huge quantity is found in Nasarawa State, but there is also some quantity in Kogi and Ekiti. These have been traced and confirmed by the Chinese companies. When I visited China last time and visited CATL and some of these big companies, These are the 3 states they mentioned. They focus on Nasarawa state first because lithium also comes in different quality. You can find lithium, the sun itself can come with different aspect. So this is what is happening. Now, I love the introduction you made. With the vigor we are going, with the energy that Dele Alake is going, with the vision of the president that is going, we cannot afford to make a mistake. This is the time to take advantage of it and play that role and be the leader in Africa, definitely in West Africa. So, and let us take politics out of it. Investors are going to take their company to where they are going to make the most margins. So they like to take it to where there is profitability, to where the market is. Like you mentioned, Nasarawa is next door. So Nasarawa is next to Abuja. One of the biggest buyers of these electric vehicles will be the government. And so where else can you have it better than maybe in Nasarawa state? I'm telling you, I'm taking politics out of it. It's purely business. I'm looking at it the time I was in Dangote, and we were going to different countries. We were doing that when I was in Osaka, where I was looking for oil in several other places, Bolivia, going to Angola, going to this. This is the kind of thinking of an investor. So the moment we take the politics out of it and allow the investors to make decisions correctly, then I think Nigeria is in for it. This is another oil that is coming. That's how God has blessed Nigeria in particular, and this is the way to go.
All right.